Hey team, how y'all doing today? So today I want to talk about email tracking. There are a couple ways that you can track emails inside HYROS, and I'm going to go over that today, and I'll probably show you like some of the best practices that you can do with this. You can basically track almost any email down to the actual email that it's coming from with what I'm about to show you here. So like let's say you're sending off an email to someone, okay, and when they click on it, takes them to the URL, and then it populates UTM parameters just like this into the URL. Okay, so let's just imagine for a second that, so what we have right here, we have question mark UTM underscore source equals Clavio. So that's just like the email provider that we're using. And UTM underscore medium equals email. So that's basically like the traffic source. Well, not, that's like the source category that it's coming from. And then we have UTM underscore campaign equals, and then for this we could just go lavender dash soap, okay, just like that. So this right here could be parameters that you set inside email campaigns that you already have, all right? So if that's the case, right, this would be the source tag, so the actual source that someone's coming from. This right here would be the source category, and then this right here could be the traffic source that it's coming from, okay? So the way to set that up in HYROS, tracking-wise, is to create a dynamic URL rule. And I'm going to delete this right here and do it over again. But we'll just go to add new rule, and again, so just we're in tracking, URL rules, add new rule, okay? We can name it, and we'll just go like email, just like that. We can set it to dynamic, and then this right here, this first part, is the actual source that HYROS is going to grab. Okay, so it's like the source tag, right? So three types of tags in HYROS: at tags, where people come from, sources; exclamation tags, clicks on the funnel, okay? And then money tags, which represent products purchased or calls booked, okay? So with this right here, it's going to be this little last part. We're just going to go UTM underscore campaign, copy that, and we'll just put it just like that, click enter, and drop it down just like that, okay? You don't need to put the equals. HYROS will do that for you. And that right there, it's just going to look for whatever comes after UTM underscore campaign. That's what's going to be the source that is assigned to that particular person, whoever clicks on that email, right? Okay, and so then next thing is apply the source, apply the rule to both, okay? You can do a whole bunch of things with dynamic URL rules, but for this we're just going to click a source, okay? Click on advanced, okay? Now UTM underscore source. Now if we look inside here, UTM underscore source equals Clavio. So that's what that would do. That would be the traffic source, okay? And then the dynamic category, so source category that it would come from would be UTM underscore medium, just like this, okay? And we copy that, we paste it, click it, so let's drop down, create the rule, okay? So now HYROS will look for that information. It will assign a traffic source to it. So inside HYROS, we got traffic source, we got source categories, and then we got the actual source tag, okay? So it's gonna look for that. All right, now that right there is just to set up like the basic dynamic URL rule tracking. What we can also add to this, so like let's say we're using Clavio, okay? Clavio. So this is a Clavio email tracking parameter from HYROS, right? So what we can do is we could take this, and this first part of this parameter, what it does is it will actually populate the customer's email into the URL when they click on it. So when I clicked on this, you'll notice that it populates all of this automatically, right? But like if I would have had this right here at the beginning, okay, so just so like let's say we put this at the beginning, right? This parameter that I just copied, okay? It says question mark HE equals and then email. That populates my email, so austin@cqmarketing.net, right, into the actual URL. And the HYROS Universal Tracking Script grabs that information, and it captures the lead automatically without them even having to opt in or anything like that. It just captures it right away. The second part of that parameter is and EL equals email. So that right there, we don't need to actually have that inside here, because we already have other UTM source, UTM medium, UTM campaign inside this email campaign, right? But like, let's say that we didn't, okay? Let's say we didn't have any UTM parameters set up at all, okay? Inside of anything, so any emails. We're just like sending people, we're creating copies and they're clicking on links inside emails, and then people are sent to the URL. So what we could do is we could add this right here to the end of that inside the copy of the email, okay? All right, so like, again, this is the copy of the email. I'm just clicking onto it. It's taking me to the URL link, but inside that copy, if we had this parameter at the end of it, it would capture my email, it would populate my email into the URL, and then it would assign it as and el equals email. That would be the source tag, okay? But what we can also do is we can rename it lavender dash soap, okay? Spaces are dashes, all right? And then we could also do this manually. So we wouldn't even need to create a dynamic URL rule here, essentially. But we could go like and h category equals, right? And then we could be like email. And then I could go and h traffic source equals, and then I could say Clavio, okay? Just like that, right? So same exact thing that we just did. One was a manual way, the other is using dynamic URL rules. Regardless, whether you guys are using dynamic URL rules or just doing it the manual way, I would highly recommend that you actually take this little first parameter right here and paste it into anything that you do, because HYROS will populate your customer's email into the URL, and then the HYROS tracking script right here, boom, universal, right here, it will grab that information immediately, okay? So, like, that's what I recommend to do. If you need assistance with this, just let me know, team, okay? Hope you enjoy.